Hi, Charlotte. It's nice to see you again.
You too, Barb. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week?
It was okay.
Yeah?
James is still having a few issues.
Yeah. So last week we talked a little bit about your relationship with James and some of the difficulties you guys were having.
Mhm.
And I know for your homework we said you were going to kind of take notice of the conflicts that you had and figure out exactly what was going on. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we had a pretty good start to our week. And then I think it was on Tuesday, I asked him to take out the trash. And seems like not a big deal, right? That's his normal chore. That's what he's supposed to do. It's set expectation. Well, he just went crazy. He started stomping around. He even ended up like a 2-year-old on the ground, pounding his fists, and just it was ridiculous that he had to work around the house and do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then I think it was a couple days later, maybe on Thursday, I asked him about his plans for the weekend. And then he just started yelling about how all the friends that he has are not reliable and stupid, and everybody is just, I don't even remember what he said. He was just screaming at me about a really innocent question. I was really trying to just engage with him and to get involved in his life and ask him about his plans for the weekend.
Right. That sounds really frustrating.
It was super frustrating.
Yeah, I bet it was. So kind of what I'm hearing you say is when you try to engage with him or ask him something, then he tends to react negatively.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then what do you do after that?
Well, depends on how much energy I have, because sometimes I just have to walk away because I just can't even deal with it, which I know isn't the right thing to do, but it's what I can do. And then if I try to call him out on it or to push back at all, or sometimes I end up yelling too, so then we just end up in a big screaming match between the two of us, which I know isn't good and it isn't right, but it's how I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, so when you do push back, you notice that it escalates?
For sure.
Conflict? Yeah.
Then I'm engaging with him and he's not, then I think he wants to keep making it worse or making it bigger.
Right. So you kind of got this pattern going on that you engage with him and he's negative about it, and then when you push back, it gets worse, right?
Yes. That's exactly what's happening.
Outside of these conflicts that you've been having, do you guys have time you spend together that's peaceful or like a lot of quality time together?
Well, we try. I feel like I try to create time that we can spend together, and it seems like any little thing I do that just hits him the wrong way ends up escalating into a really big deal. So it starts out as quality time, but then it doesn't end that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, with his behavior here, if maybe what he really wants is more time with you. And I know that might sound strange, but sometimes we find when kids, when they get a lot of engagement from their parents during a conflict, that they kind of seek that out because they really want to spend more time with you.
So he could be creating more emotion and getting it all riled up just to spend more time with me?
It's possible, because one of the things we know about James is that he is a very empathetic child, and that, you know, he definitely cares for you, and I know you care for him. So I would just like you to encourage you to think of this as possibly he's not trying to make your life harder, but maybe in the wrong way, he's trying to spend more time with you because he cares for you.
Oh, it'd be nice if he'd just do what we start doing and not end up in a big battle.
Yes, I would agree with that, but sometimes kids are a little bit more difficult. So now that you kind of see that you're in this pattern, what if we look at some ways that maybe you can do something differently that might break the pattern?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. One thing, well, tell me a little bit more about what happens exactly when he melts down.
Well, sometimes it's just screaming and yelling at me. Sometimes it starts that way, and then it ends up with him just kind of like a 2-year-old on the ground, you know, punching, kicking and screaming, and it's, I just can't even understand it, why it got so heated so fast. So it's a lot of yelling and raised voices, but also sometimes he ends up just kind of getting physical on the ground and doing stuff.
So you can pretty much guarantee when you have a conflict started that this is going to happen?
Pretty much.
Yeah. One thing that you may want to try is actually giving him permission to have the meltdown.
So you're telling me I should tell him to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So kind of the idea behind this is if you know he's going to have the meltdown anyway,
Mm-hmm.
if you come before the meltdown and acknowledge that and just say, James, I know what I'm about to ask you might make you feel upset, and that's okay, and it's okay for you to vent. You can go ahead and vent now, or you can vent afterwards. That is fine with me. What that does is it helps take the conflict out of it, because it kind of gives him a choice that he's either going to vent and cooperate with you, do what you asked, which he's no longer being defiant,
Okay.
or he may be defiant by not having a meltdown.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
That sounds a little crazy,
Yeah?
and I'm not sure it will work, but.
Well, let's just humor me for a minute. And
Okay.
so, how do you think you would say that to him? If I were James and you were going to ask me to take out the garbage, what would you say to me?
Right, so that day had been a pretty good day. If I think back to what happened last week, if I were replaying that and creating it again, we were getting ready to make dinner, and I started dinner, and I noticed the garbage can was full.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I could, before I ask him to take out the garbage, say, I'm really looking forward to our dinner. In order for us to get everything cleaned up before we eat,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're probably I guess I could say, I know you're looking forward to dinner too, and I'm going to ask you something in a second that I want you to think about not getting upset about.
Well,
Or,
you're actually going to let him get upset. You're going to give him permission to get upset.
right. So I'm going to say, this may upset you,
Mm-hmm.
but I need you to take out the garbage. Oh, wait, no. I have to say, this may upset you, but it's okay to be upset,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to have a meltdown. Do I say that?
Well, let's practice it. Let's
Okay.
let's come out and be like, hey, Mom, how are you doing?
Hey, James. I can't wait to make steak with you tonight. I know we were looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So I've got everything ready to make, but I noticed that, I probably shouldn't say the garbage can's full first. I'm going to need you to do something for me in a minute, and it's okay if you get upset about it, but I really need you to take out the trash before we finish making dinner and eat.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good start. I mean, I think you just relax and take a deep breath and let it be natural. But the idea is if you give him permission first, then it kind of takes it down a notch and the conflict is less. How do you feel about trying that for homework this week?
I'll give it a try.
All right. It was great seeing you. Let's meet back next week and talk about it some more.
Thanks, Barb.
Thanks, Charlotte.